Welcome everybody, Steve here. Today, keeping it simple. We're building a shelf for a garage. I have a buddy of mine needs just a shelf for some storage, something simple. And this one's actually going to be about 13.5 feet long. I wanted it double so that we can, maximize its space. Got a really tall ceiling in this garage. So this is going to mount up about, yay high. Just high enough for somebody taller than me to tag himself on the corner. But that's why we cut the corner off, just to reduce the dent. But this is a simple little project. I'm not a big fan of shelving units in garages that go right to the floor. I guess if you got a certain corner or something like that, you just can't keep anything clean. And then this one here, I've got another option. I'm going to show it to you later. But anyway, I'm going to go, the studs are every 16 inches. So I'm going to put a bracket every 32. And then there's going to be 3/4 inch plywood for the shelving. A pretty simple design. So if you're interested in building one of these, watch this video. Encourage you to get ideas, elsewhere. And then you're going to come up with your own dimensions. Maybe you want it a little bit lower because, you got certain containers that you're using. The brace here, does add a bit of a problem. That's why I want to go every 32 inches, because only so much can go in here. But you put something here and then you can stack something on top. You know how it goes. Anyway, I'm going to show you how I built it. I'm going to give you the dimensions that I used, and then you take it from there. I'm cutting the brace here, and of course it's 45 on each side. And the measurement on that is 16 inches on the long measurement. And then what I did was just nipped off the corner, or on the bottom, so that the face of it was the width of a 2x4, 1.5 inches. And I believe that measurement from the tip was about 2 1/8. And then you just draw your 45 from there and cut it on the saw. Now when you nip off the end, that doesn't have to be perfect. So what I did was just, cut one and then just used it as a template. But when you draw your line, you know that the line is going to be on the outside. So when you cut it, make sure the line disappears and it's going to work out perfect. Now I'm just cutting the vertical aspect of our bracket here, and the length of this one here on mine are 40.5 inches. Now of course, that's going to vary depending on whether you want a double shelf and how much space you want between each shelf. So you just need to determine that one yourself. Mine just happens to be 40.5. So the horizontal pieces for our bracket are going to be cut at 21.5 inches. Now I want a 24-inch shelf with a 1-inch overhang, so I need to have my pieces in total length at 23. The backing board being 1.5 plus 21.5 gives me 23. So what I'm going to do before I get started, so I built this one and I'm going to pre-drill my holes. So I just marked them out where they're going to be. Now I like to pre-drill because if you just take and drill, you know, you're going to mount this on here like that. And if you're sitting there drilling straight through without drilling a pilot hole, it's going to vibrate and it's going to be hard to hold this in the right spot and your day is going to go bad. So pre-drill, doesn't take much time. We're going to pre-drill one more hole here. This is our 45 brace. And what I want to do is just from the top, I'm just going to go down 2 inches and pre-drill that hole. Time for some assembly. So what I've done here, of course, you know, we want this to be in the middle, so that's going to be 1 inch. So I cut a couple of blocks here, a few blocks that are 1 inch. And I figured out that my table's kind of warped, so I'm going to use this 3/4 inch one right about here. Yeah, that'll work. Right about there. We just line it up. Now, I've also made a mark. I haven't yet. Let's do that right now. For the second one, the top one, of course, is going to go on the top. The second one, I got to make a mark at 17 inches here. So the top of our bracket is going to be 17 inches, so I made a mark there. Now, put this together. Pretty simple. From this point on, let's see if you're in the frame. Oh yeah. I find if I go in short little bursts, doesn't a little bit more control, and my piece of wood doesn't go all over the place. Now you can check for square if you want to. It's pretty close. But if you cut your 2x4s and everything's cut square, it should just kind of go square. And it's just a shelf, so don't get too excited. This one here's got a bit of a break in it. I'm going to just peel that off, so don't jam that into my hand. Okay, let's get a different angle here. Okay, time to put our brace in. Now we got our hole drilled. And, you know, on the top one, you could just keep going. You don't have to cut this notch out, but that notch actually buys you just a little bit more room, you know, to put, you know, a tub in or something like that. If that makes any sense, just say yes. So what we're going to do, I'm going to add a little PL to this. That's going to stiffen everything up. And it's just one more thing. It's gonna make it better. You just line her up best you can. Screw it into place. I find if I just go straight up like this, I find this one a little easier to line up. Alright. It's just a little bit easier to, if it was out down there, it's harder. I can just push this to keep it nice and even. Now I'm going left-handed here, so. Beauty. Okay, we got her on our 17 mark here. Make sure you don't get them upside down. Pull that little. Nope. Starting to come together. One more brace. A little bit of PL. This left-handed stuff doesn't work very well. There we go. Beauty. Okay, now, just want to show you one other feature that I'm going to do here. Now, the reason I put that notch on the bottom is this shelf is going to be about 13.5 feet. So, I'm going to run a 2x4 all the way along the bottom, like that. And then what you can do is underneath your shelves, like this is going to be off the ground quite a ways, you can put hooks all the way along and then hang stuff from there. I think that's pretty genius. One more to build. Now when I mount this, these brackets, I'm putting my level line at the bottom of the bracket. And because of that, you want to make sure that all your measurements start at the bottom and go up. And if you're going to level it from the top, make sure all your measurements start at the top. Done. It's the last one. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pre-drill a couple holes here. And I'll put one right up in here as well. And that's where we're going to screw it into the wall. So the next step, cut some plywood. We'll pre-drill these holes, or this one, and this one, and one right up here. You can just eyeball them. There. Now it's up to his installation. There is no doubt that a laser line is the best way to hang shelves. Just set her up, make a mark on your stud. You can't go wrong. I've got all the brackets screwed onto the wall here in this photo, and now it's time to put the shelving in. Now, in this particular project, I got fortunate. I have a bracket right on the very edge of the wall, so a full 8-foot piece will fit in there, and I'm not going to be wasting a lot. You know, if you do your measurements every 32, it doesn't really work out very well for an 8-foot sheet of plywood, but I got fortunate because it came from the corner. And I have to cut an inch off, but that makes me happy. Now I'm just showing you here that on the bottom shelf we have to make a couple marks and notch it so that the plywood goes up against the wall. And I'm just going to use a jigsaw for that. And there you have it. The shelf is complete and looks great. It's ready to get loaded up. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll catch up to you on the next one.